It's 7:12 on Thursday evening, November 10th, 2022. Calling the Maiden Creek Township Board of Supervisors meeting to order. And I'd ask everybody rise for a pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so thank you all for coming tonight. The first thing we're going to be doing is a hearing for a company that's known as Tiny Thinkers for a conditional use application. And with that, I'm going to turn this over to our solicitor for the hearing.
Thank you. We did have a brief conversation with the applicant who's appearing via Zoom prior to opening the hearing, and she desires to move forward this evening, even though she's not physically here. Just for the public's benefit, this is a hearing on a conditional use application that's been advertised. It's to allow a child daycare center at 13 Ingot Drive in the C1 local commercial district. And it's a use permitted by section 220-41C7 of the zoning ordinance. Again, it is a hearing, so the process will be, we will have the applicant get sworn in, present testimony. The board can then ask the applicant questions, and then anybody from the public can answer questions as well, or ask questions. Once the applicant is done, anyone from the public at that point can give any statements for or against the application, and then the board could close the hearing and render a decision this evening, or they may postpone the decision till their next meeting, whatever their pleasure is, and we'll discuss that once we go through the evidence. I just want to enter a couple things onto the record. T1 will be the application, T2 will be the legal notice, T3 will be the proof of publication, T4 will be the affidavit of mailing. What we did is mailed letters to all property owners within 1,000 feet, as the list was provided by the applicant. T5 is the affidavit of posting. And then T6 is the SDE letter dated November 9th of 22. And the applicant, again, is via Zoom. Is there anybody from the member of the public that wishes to be a party to this application? You don't have to be a party to ask questions or present testimony, but we do want to get your name on the record and address if someone wants to be a party for or against the application. All right, there's none here. I don't believe anybody on the line is raising their hand either. So, all right, so nobody from the public. And with that, Emily, we're going to get you sworn in, and this is over Zoom, which is, again, a little bit of an anomaly. Are you okay with being sworn in over Zoom?
Yes.
Okay. You're okay with that? She said yes.
Okay.
So you do have to speak up if you would. So, do you want me to swear her in?
That's right. Emily, can you give me your full name, please? I don't know if you can hear me. This is the court reporter.
Yep, Emily Michelle Hartman.
How do you spell Michelle?
M-I-C-H-E-L-L-E.
And Hartman?
H-A-R-T-M-A-N.
Thank you. And I can't see you, but if you'll raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, all set.
All right, so Emily, if you could, just go through your application and tell the board what you are trying to do at this property.
Okay, it's a new property. So we currently have a child care center at a different location that we lease, and I've had my eye on this property for quite some time, and it was brought to my attention that it was for sale. And we are quickly outgrowing our space here where we are right now. So we are looking to find a permanent location that we can purchase so that we can meet the needs in the community. We currently have over 106 kids on our waiting list.
And how many children do you have at your current facility?
We currently have 69 children.
So 69 children that you currently have and 106 additional on a waiting list.
Yes, this location that I'm at currently is licensed for 108, but we are at maximum based on ratios and room capacity.
Gotcha. And are you purchasing the building or leasing it?
We're purchasing it, pending this goes
Sure,
through.
understood, yeah. And can you describe the building for the board?
Sure. The building, now I've only been in it twice, but the building is it's a main floor and then there's like a lower level, which I guess you could consider it a basement, but it's finished. It has the perfect layout for exactly what we're looking for as far as classroom sizes, restrooms, things like that. They already have storage areas and the nicest part for us in particular is the area outside for playground space for the children because our playground space right now is very small.
And how many children do you think you'll have at the new location?
That's hard to say. Our state inspector has to come in once if it would become our property and measure. We can only have so many children per square foot of a classroom. So she would actually come in and measure and tell us how many we are licensed for. But it is a bigger building than what we have now, and we're licensed for 108 now. So it would be more than 108 children.
And how many parking spaces do you have?
Do you mean like how many classrooms?
No, parking of cars, how many?
Oh, parking?
Yes.
I think when we counted, there were 22. I'm trying to look at my,
Okay. And then how many employees do you have?
I currently have 8 full-time employees, but then I also have part-time employees. I have 7 part-time.
And how many are on site at one time?
10, approximately, 9 to 10.
And do you have any vehicles that are company vehicles that get parked at the location?
No, we chose not to be licensed to transport children.
And what are your hours of operation?
We're open 6:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday.
We have signage for this property?
I noticed that there was a sign already on the property and we would just have that swapped out to say Tiny Thinkers Academy.
So you would, I'm gonna phrase it a different way, you will comply with the signing regulations of the township, whatever they are?
Oh, absolutely, sure, yeah.
And is the property, does it have water and sewer enough for your facility?
Yes,
Is it public water and sewer there?
I believe so. Jeremy, I don't know if you know differently. I guess not, if he's not saying
That's okay.
anything.
He may not be able to unmute himself.
It's fine. And
Okay.
actually, we can't ask him, he's not sworn in yet, so if he chimes in, just get him to nudge you, and then we'll get him on your speaker and get sworn in after you, okay?
We're actually not in the same
Oh, okay, gotcha.
building,
Not a
so.
problem, yep. And do you have enough space or an area where loading and unloading of the children won't interfere with traffic either internal to your site or external from your site?
Yes, yes.
All right, I think that's all that I have. And I was just trying to walk you through the criteria there, Emily. So obviously, any questions from Tom or the board, go ahead and chime in now. I'm going to do a little bit of math with the parking spaces. So,
Well, I was just going to.
You done that? Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Let's see what they got to say.
Emily, you'll have to comply with the zoning parking requirements of the township, or you will have to get relief from the zoning requirement by zoning hearing board. But the zoning requirement is for 2 spaces per 15 children, and one space per employee, 1 space per facility vehicle, which I believe you testified you do not have.
Correct.
That would be something that we require through zoning and as a condition.
Okay, I do know there's the parking spaces in the parking lot, and then there's for lack of a better word, a driveway that goes around to the back of the building, and there's a big macadam area, which we were figuring we would turn into additional parking for the staff.
So I think the condition that we're going to recommend for the board to put on you is that you comply with the parking. So whatever parking you can show thereafter.
Okay.
Just so you know, it may limit the number of kids you are allowed to have there, even beyond what the state licenses you as. So,
Okay.
So you may, but if you do have extra space for those 10 employees, that may open up the 22 for your customers' use. So, so it may allow you to have more children.
Okay.
As of right now, what is it, 1 per?
I'm getting 33 spots, so that's 14 for the current amount at 108, plus 4 for an additional 60 kids, plus 10 for employees, plus 5 for future employees to cover the other kids. So that's 33 is what I got.
So I think the condition we're working is whatever it is, that your students can exceed the parking requirement. So that you have to comply with parking, okay?
Right, yep.
All right, anything else?
Prior to opening, you would be receiving all your licenses and permits from the state.
Yes, oh, absolutely, we
Yep.
can't do anything without that.
Right, and that the signage will be in compliance with the township zoning ordinance?
Yes.
Yes.
The planning commission also recommended that the building be in compliance with all uniform construction code requirements prior to opening as well. That was the one recommendation that the planning commission made, but otherwise they approved, they recommended approval for it.
I just one question, what are the ages of the children that are at your facility?
We have children from 6 weeks all the way through 6th grade.
Tom, or Emily, what was the age of the building? It's not that old.
That I'm actually not sure.
I say, that was a medical, yeah, there's a medical something facilities that do medical parts or something like that in there at the time, so I think as far as ADA compliance and all that stuff, that should already be, I would assume, it's taken care of. The other thing too is knowing where it's at. It's, the property's located on a cul-de-sac.
That's part of the, if you need it, part of the application was this, so this is part of T1 if you want to look at it. So,
You say D1,
T1,
T1.
That's township 1, yes.
okay.
have one additional question regarding the wide range of children that you have at your facility. What are the requirements for your staffing? Because I imagine that would change a lot based on the age of the children.
Yes, so we have to maintain, we're regulated by the Department of Human Services, and we have to maintain the ratios that they put in place. So would you like to know the ratios?
Sure, because I can imagine that could change as children get older and you have different children
Sure,
come in.
yeah. So for infants, it's 1 staff member to 4 children. Younger toddlers, which is children that are 1-year-old, are 1 staff member to 5 children. Older toddlers who are 2 is 1 staff member to 6 children. Preschoolers who are 3 until the day they start kindergarten is 1 teacher to 10 children. And then school age, so that's the day they start kindergarten until they exit out, is 1 teacher to 12 children. And if you mix them, for example, if we have infants and toddlers in a room together, it drops to the lowest ratio. So it would be 1 teacher to 4 children.
So then do you accept children based on your available slots, based on how many kids you can have?
Yes, so my director has this really detailed Google Doc that has our current children all the way through 2025 at what age they move to each classroom so that we can see what classroom we have spaces for.
Are there any bus pickups or drop-offs for this?
And I'm sorry, what was that?
Are there any like school bus drop-offs or pickups at that location?
Yes, Fleetwood School District provides transportation to and from the middle school, Willow Creek, and Andrew Mayer.
I'm sorry, Emily, I didn't catch that.
Oh,
Fleetwood School District?
Yep, they provide transportation to and from the middle school, Andrew Mayer, and Willow Creek.
Andrew Mayer and Willow Creek are elementary schools.
Yes.
Not familiar with the name, so.
And that has room enough with the driveway you have? Do they come in the driveway, or are they just?
They don't.
Okay. Would they be using the cul-de-sac for those drop-offs and pickups?
That I'm not sure. I would have to talk to the district about. If I had to guess, I would imagine that we would have to walk to the end of the cul-de-sac because we walk to the end of our little, the little strip area right here.
Okay. And there's no occupancy in the building overnight?
No.
And you meet all fire code regulations? You have
Through the
an
township.
You have an alarm system and,
We have an alarm system. We also have the fire system, and that I believe, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure that was through the township, but then we also have to have it inspected periodically.
Well, I think one of the things that the
state required.
Well, the planning commission was concerned because the fire code standards for a medical facility, which it was previously, are different than they are for a child care facility, which is why they said the recommendation was to comply with UCC so that if there would be changes to the system itself, that those would be required prior to opening the facility.
Oh, correct, yes.
There is a fire suppression system in there currently.
Yes. To the best of my knowledge, there is. I have not stepped foot there.
Is there a sprinkler system? Or?
There is a system. I don't know whether or not it works or not, but we wouldn't be able to open our doors unless it was fully functioning.
Right.
Any more questions from the board? Anybody from the public have any questions for Emily? All right, seeing none. Emily, do you have anything else you want to present? You did a good job, by the way.
Thank you. I apologize again for not being there.
We understand.
And it's just something that we have been told by the community time and time again that we need to be able to take more children. So we're just trying to help as many kids as we can and as many families as we can.
Appreciate that. Any member of the public have any statements for or against the application? All right, seeing none.
I just have one question.
Sure.
What is an anticipated operational opening date that you're looking at?
I believe unless things would get bumped back, our settlement would be in the middle of January, so I would hope to have children over there end of February, beginning of March. And that's a little bit aggressive, but I think given the staff that I have and the team that I have behind me, we can make that happen.
Thank you.
So you can close the hearing. So we close the record if you want to motion to close the meeting.
Okay.
Close the hearing,
I
sorry.
have a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in agreement?
Aye.
Aye.
Do you want to talk about rendering your decision now, or if you're comfortable,
I think it's pretty cut and dry.
yeah,
Yeah.
the recommendations I would have is that signage and lighting comply with our ordinances. They receive all license and permits prior to opening. Parking comply with our ordinances, and that the building and use complies with UCC prior to occupancy. I think that covers, you have them all? So I think that covers anything that both the planning commission and consultants would recommend as part of your motion if you were to approve this.
I'll make a motion that we approve the conditional use request,
Subject to those four conditions.
subject to the conditions outlined by our solicitor for Tiny Fingers.
I'll second that motion.
All in agreement?
Wait, do you have a comment? Oh,
No, sorry.
okay.
I just wanted to get the list from Eric, that's why I was gonna say
Okay.
something.
All those in agreement give your consent by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, Emily, so you are approved. Yeah, exactly. What you will get, sorry for all the stress earlier.
No, I'm sorry.
No, thank you for that. You will receive a letter approval tomorrow, and then a formal written approval within the next 45 days.
Okay.
So probably after our December meeting, I'll have it written for that, and we'll sign it at our December meeting and then circulate it after that. But effectually, you will have your approval by letter tomorrow.
Oh, that's
Okay.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it very, very much.
Have a good night.
Good luck.
Thank you, you too. Thank
Good
you.
night. Sure.
Bye.
See ya.